Okay, hopefully that worked. I discovered a new thing. Apparently, if you usually you can reconnect to YouTube streams, and I think you can also reconnect to Twitch streams. The difference is, or the problem is, that I don't think that you can reconnect to restream I guess streams. So when you stop the stream, it's like stop for good. Tells me I'm online, but does tell me that I'm online on restream itself. Let's see. Maybe it's just bugged. Oh, hello. Thank you. Thank you for the heads up. So it seems like it tells me that I'm online, but I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. Okay, it was probably just bugged. Maybe, hopefully, your messages. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so that's the only annoying thing. If that ever happens again, if you restart your stream and you use restream, you cannot connect the two streams together on YouTube, at least it seems. So it'll be two streams, which is probably not a bad thing if the quick sketch is disconnected from the rest of the stuff, the rest of the topic. So yeah, at least today it wasn't that a bad thing. It was good timing. Let's go to Blender and start a new scene. There you go. New. Perfect. Okay. So we don't need to change any settings. Everything is set up. Okay. That is kind of interesting. Yeah, maybe there was some sort of weird connection between Twitch and restream. Maybe if that ever happens again, maybe we should try if the same happens on YouTube, if there's the same delay on YouTube as well, because then it's probably restream, not only Twitch. Okay, so perfect. So let's go to today's topic. Of course, as I said before, we're gonna do some interesting simulations today. I said before, and it's also in the title, we're gonna simulate some, or at least one impossible object, and then some other interesting objects later. First of all, what we're gonna look at is the Gömböc. The Gömböc is an object that has two stable, or at least two sides that it can stand on, that it can balance on. One of them is a well, we're gonna do it later if we have some more time. We should probably have some more time. The simulations won't take too long. I'm gonna play around with it, do some experiments, and then we will we should have some more time later. So that is one, the Gömböc has two sides, one stable side that it can stand on and one unstable side, which is basically, I'm going to show you what it looks like later, or I can probably import it now, so you can see what it looks like. And how I made this object is I didn't make it actually. I just downloaded it from which is called, the website is called Thingiverse, I think, which has a lot of 3D models meant for 3D printing. And there you go, that's the Gömböc. Very, very small. And you can not only find objects that you can 3D scan, but you can also, of course, import them into Blender. Maybe these objects were actually created in Blender. The objects in Thingiverse usually are Creative Commons, which means you can use them, or the what is it? The copyright isn't really like you can't infringe the copyright if you use these objects. They usually have like or at least this object is fully copyright free. You can use them for whatever, even for commercial stuff. So if you want to sell them, I guess you can do that. We're not going to sell them, of course. We will simulate it. So the whole idea is in real life, the Gömböc would, if you look at it, you can see it right there. Now it's facing like it's sideways. If we rotate it by -90 degrees, you can see that's how it would stand if it was on the stable side. So this surface right there, down there, is the stable surface where it can stand on, and then it has one more surface that it can stand on, which is right on this edge right there. So if you in real life at least can balance it right on that edge, it will stand as well. But those two are the only two sides that can actually that it can balance on. All the other sides just lead it to resort back to usually like this side right there, down there. So if you position it like, for example, like this, it would just roll back to this surface down there. So what I want to try today is if actually Blender handles this object exactly how it would react in real life. We're going to discover a little bit about how it behaves. We're going to do a few experiments, and then I think I can kind of explain how it actually works, how or why it always resorts back to this surface down there. Let me just first of all change the pivot point into the center. Cursor to selected. That's just easier to work with. There you go. Okay. So we're going to position it right in the center of this world. Perfect. So first of all, of course, so we can actually like roll it or like simulate it, we need not only the object itself, because if we just like simulate it now, it would just fall into nothingness. We actually need a surface. So what we just need for a surface is a plane. There you go. We have a plane. Let's move the plane right on the Z0 value. What we have to do for that is move the cursor back to the world origin. Now it's right in the center of the world. Put the mesh right there, and we have a ground. Okay, first of all, to actually simulate this object, we cannot only like hit play and it's going to fall down. We have to enable simulations. To enable simulations, we select the object, the Gömböc, and we go into the simulations tab right here on the side. Then what you can see right here, we have different simulations or physics that we can enable. We have force fields, collisions, cloth, and whatever. What we need is rigid body. We have different styles of simulations for objects. We have cloth, which basically acts like a cloth. Of course, what else? Basically, like as if this object, you would transform it into some cloth, and it would just, if you would like simulate it now, it would just fall into each other, like into itself. It's kind of similar for soft body physics. And then it kind of acts like a soft body, like a, I don't know, like a balloon with like a little bit less, I guess, like air in it, so it's still like not as stiff. And you have rigid body simulations, which is basically this object will simulate without any deformations. It's rigid, it's not going to deform. So we have set up our very simple simulation for the Gömböc. We can then determine how the collision will be calculated. We can either say, okay, we will build a invisible collision object around this Gömböc, which will be used for the collision itself. So for example, we can set the shape right there. We can have a convex hull, a box, a sphere, capsule, whatever. If you, for example, use a box, you can see how the collision object then looks. We can see if we then bring in a window for the simulation, to start, we of course need a time window. If we hit play, we can see it falls down, and there it goes, falls into oblivion, because we of course need to set a simulation property for this plane as well. So first of all, what we need for the plane is another rigid body simulation. We cannot use the collision simulation property. That is only for cloth and soft body. We need the rigid body. simulation property, or like, yeah, simulation property. We then switch the type from active to passive. So this is only like a collision object, not really being simulated. It's more there for the actual simulated object to interact with. Then we can set the shape as well. Let's put it to box. That's the easiest one. For the plane, it's just like a surface, which is kind of like a box. So then if we hit play again, we can see it falls down and nothing happens. It just falls flat on the ground, which probably would also happen if we would use the actual geometry of this Gömböc as the simulation surface. If we, though, switch it to this side, and we still, we switch it to this side. Wait, why is it not? Oh, of course we have to reset the simulation, and there you go. It's back to this side that we've rotated it to. If we now start the simulation, usually what should happen is that it would rotate to the side and balance itself on the surface. But if we have the box enabled as the simulation, we can see just falls down and stays like this. If we look at it properly, we can see there isn't really like a good surface to land on or to stand on. So that shouldn't really happen in real life. So to fix that, we can very easily, first of all, rotate it back to... Oh, no, before we do that, I want to show what happens if we switch it from box to mesh. That is what we're going to use. Now it's actually going to use the whole mesh for the simulation. If we now hit play, let's see what happens. I'm not quite sure what will happen. Let's see what Blender tells us what will happen. Let's see. First simulation in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, hello. Kind of laggy, but we can see it's still rolling, kind of has some speed. We can see it's kind of sliding over the ground. That is exactly because we have to enable one more thing. Of course, right now, you were able to see that the Gömböc was kind of bouncing around and also like just rolling. That is because we have to enable one more thing in the plane itself, which is in the surface response. We can see we have some friction, but it's at 0.5 right now, and the bounciness is at 0. So the bounciness is probably set in the object itself. We can see friction there as well. Let's set the friction of the ground to 1, and then the bounciness can stay at 0. That should be pretty good. So it shouldn't jump too much now. Let's save this for a quick second so we don't have to set it up again. There you go. Okay, I'm good. Quick sketch. Oh no, it's not a quick sketch. Okay, perfect. So let's see what happens now if we enable more, or if we put in more friction. 3, 2, 1, go. There you go. Bouncing around again. But it should be, yeah, it starts like, it stops earlier. Let's see what happens now. It's trying to roll around a little bit. Kind of laggy, of course. But you can see it's still trying to stand on some surface. It's still rolling, Let's see what happens. Okay, it's just infinitely bouncing around, I guess. Let's see. Okay, we can see. Is it like flying in the air? Oh, that is because of the actual like box that we've set up. We cannot see the box itself. What if we go in here? We can't see the box. Oh, there it is. It's like this. You can see the box right there. It's this outline right there. That is actually like the surface that is used for the simulation. What if we switch this from source, base to form final? Let's go into friction and set the friction to 1 as well. So this should help like remove some of that like traying over the whole surface. Let's see what happens now if we enable friction for this one as well, or set it to 1. Let's see. Okay, now it should stop earlier. Still rolling. Okay. Rolling. Oh, it's kind of like, of course, the simulation is kind of laggy, of course. That is probably because of the density of the object. And we can see it's kind of like just bouncing around now. We can see it's still trying to simulate, or it's still trying to stand up or find some sort of like balance point, but it can't really do it. If we look at it now, the simulation is fully done. We can see just bouncing around. So maybe we can change a few changes, or we can change a few settings, or the Gömböc is too powerful for Blender's simulation. So one thing that I want to see if that is actually working. First of all, what I want to actually change is the height that it is starting off from. So this should kind of alleviate this bounciness. This should kind of like make it easier and make it give it more time to actually, like, it'll have more time to balance. Let's see what happens now. Okay, you can see it's still kind of floating, so the cube, the collision cube of this plane is a little bit how would you call it, like it's above the actual plane. We can probably fix that in a second. Let me go into the plane itself and just give it some thickness using a solidify modifier. This way we can now actually see the box that it uses for the simulation. We can then move the plane up so it's actually perfectly in the box. There you go. Now the Gömböc should connect to the ground. Let's see. Yeah, that should be good. What we also can change is we can go to the physics settings and sensitivity, collision margin. We can change the margin. Right now we have a little bit of like a margin between the object and the surface so that it's not going through. The margin is usually there to, for example, when the object is really fast and you have kind of ticks, like every frame, for example, it calculates a collision, or like it simulates the object. But if the object is faster than one frame and it goes through the object between two frames, then like there's no like simulation between those, and the collision wouldn't really happen. It would just go through, which is kind of what the margin is there for. It'll give you some room to actually kind of mitigate the collision, I guess. Like it just gives it more time to actually simulate the collision. Okay, let's bring it back and start it once more. See if maybe Blender is just too weak. Maybe the simulations are just too weak to actually simulate. Mass 1 kilogram should be pretty good. What about giving it more? What about giving it like 5, not 15, 5? Let's see what happens if we give it more mass. Let's see. Hit play in 3, 2, 1, go. Now it's bouncing around a little bit more, but you can see now it's just rolling around. Still trying to find a good spot to balance itself on. We can see if we go closer, it's kind of bouncing. That is just because of the Blender simulation that is kind of janky, I guess. And it can't really find a good like way to balance itself. We can see it's still just bouncing around and not really finding a good spot. So now we can see it in its full glory with 25 FPS. We can see it just bouncing around, not really much happening. We can hold on. So we can see it doesn't work. Blender is probably too weak. I don't think we can do any changes so it's actually like doing what it's supposed to do. What about changing the source from deform to final? Let's see what happens then. What about deforming? No, let's put it to final. Let's see what happens. I don't think that's going to change the actual simulation. It's just going to resort back to like jiggling around, not really finding a good spot to balance on. So we can see, I guess, Blender, this object is too strong for Blender simulation. The simulation can't simulate it realistically. There isn't really anything I can really change. I could dampen translation. Okay, rotation. Yeah, I don't think I can really change that much that it would like kind of fix the simulation itself. I think that is kind of the maximum we can get out of it. But we can try a few more surfaces. We've only tried one for now, the side. But what happens if we put it to its actual balance point and see if it just actually stands still, or if it actually bounces around as well? So what we're gonna do is maybe push it a little bit higher. I'm kind of I think like the margin is like inside of the object a little bit, so that it pushes the object out once the simulation starts. If we put it a little bit higher, then the margin should be outside of the object. And then let's see if we rotate this to, for example, the very easy balance point, which is this one. So this is basically one of the two balance points or balance surfaces right down there. Like this, it could basically stand. So let's see if it actually stands if we simulate it now. And oh nope, it's rolling. Let's see what happens. So usually it goes back to the like it just stays on that spot. I guess because of the bounciness, it's kind of like resorting back to one of the side surfaces. Oh wait, it's finding some sort of surface instead to lie on. Let's see. So I guess it just uses the side surface to stand on. So there's one thing that of course happens if you make Gömböcs, which is if they're not perfect, they have more than two surfaces they can like lay on. So I guess the only perfect Gömböc can exist in real life in Blender, at least in Blender. It is not a perfect Gömböc, which will result in this like in the Gömböc actually balancing on one of these surfaces, this kind of like this surface that is like connecting to the edge. So we can see Blender is too weak. Blender can't keep up with the reality. We could probably try a few more surfaces. We can so we can actually see if it always resorts back to this surface right there, or if there's maybe different outcomes from different angles. What about rotating it to this side? Let's hit play. And I am also quite sure that I can't really change bounciness is at 0, so it should keep it at perfectly elastic stay still. Yeah, there you go. So the bounciness is probably just because of the basic settings that I can't really change. Okay, so let's animate it again and see what happens if we put it to this side. Maybe there's another stable side on there, but I'm not quite sure if that's the case. I think it'll just rotate back or resort back to the surface that you can see on the side. Let's see. Yeah, we can see it's always trying to like go back to that surface actually. So well, we're not really playing a game about gambling. We're trying to see if we can get close to real life with this Blender simulation. So usually, so what I try to do is just some experiments for the like, I want to see if we can like get some extra realistic simulations, which doesn't really seem to be the case. So what we can probably conclude now is that this Gömböc and Blender simulations aren't really realistic. Who would have guessed? But it was still like kind of interesting to see. I want to see if I want to like test it on one more surface, and then I kind of have some more objects that I want to try, which will be not impossible or like this unique, but they have a very unique way of moving. So what about changing it to this edge? Okay, that just resorts back to the surface, these two surfaces. So we can probably conclude that Blender simulations aren't really made to actually simulate a realistic Gömböc. So let's go back, or let's go to the next surface, objects, which hopefully will simulate a little bit more realistic. Let's see. These ones are actually pretty fun and pretty clever setup. So the first things, of course, how they are called. They are called sphericons. Sphericons are objects that consist of two halves, for example, and the way they are constructed create a very specific pattern on how they roll, basically. So for example, if we use we have different ones. We have decasphericon, we have heptasphericon, tetrasphericon, trisphericon, and all that. Let's use the trisphericon for now. Let's import the trisphericon, and you can see it's pretty huge. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just make it smaller, and maybe what will also help is if we just increase the whole scene size, which should help with the simulation itself. So if we put the simulation or the scaling to the 3D cursor, scale it up by 10, that should help the overall simulation run a little bit smoother. And then I'm going to show you what these sphericons actually do. Let's move, let's actually create a full sphericon. Right now we have just two sides of the whole sphericon. Cursor selected. There you go. So that is one side of the sphericon. A sphericon is made out of two sides, of course. Who would have guessed? So we need one more. We'll just duplicate it, rotate it. Hold on. Yeah, we just rotate it on the y-axis by 180 degrees, and we have two sides. As you can see, we already have one of the sphericons that we're going to try today. So usually sphericons, how they are made is, if we look at them now, it's just a I guess a wheel or like a tube, which of course if you roll it like this, it would just roll in a straight line. But then if you rotate one of the halves by 90 degrees on this one, we can see now these corners connect in a different way, which will create this kind of shape, which will create not a straight line that they roll down from, but actually, or they roll in a straight line, they roll in a certain I guess shape. So if we now go in here, let's make a backup, put them to the side. Let's join these two sides. There you go. And then make them a little bit smaller so it actually fits on this surface. Move it on here. Let's move it back to the center. There you go. Okay. So what I want to try is if the Blender simulation can actually simulate how they would act in real life, not with the Gömböc, just trying to see if they can, if Blender actually can recreate real motion when it comes to standing on a specific, what is it? Balancing. I don't want to simulate balancing. I want to simulate the movement that would happen if these would be rolled. So what we're going to do, we're going to make this, we're going to tilt this plane so that it actually kind of roll down. So we we move the cursor back to the world origin, rotated this by, let's see, 10 degrees. Oh, 10 degrees, quite a lot. Let's put it to 3 degrees. Then we're going to move this object onto this plane right there. Let's rotate it so that it's actually rolling down. There you go, rotate it in the direction that it's supposed to roll. Oh, we have to probably rotate it by 90 degrees, so that's the perfect roll. Move it right onto the surface, and then give it a rigid body simulation. Set it to mesh. The mesh is probably pretty dense, but that should still be pretty doable. Okay. So the margin looks pretty good. Surface response, let's put the friction to 1, and then let's see what happens Now, let's see how it rolls. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Nothing happens. Maybe, oh, does it? Nope, it doesn't. Okay, maybe we should decrease the friction. Maybe let's put it to 0.5. Maybe the friction is too high. Maybe the tilt is too, like the slope is too shallow. Yep, probably this plane. Let's rotate it a little bit more. Let's put it to 5 degrees. It probably needs some more like force from gravity to actually pull it down so that it like rolls to the side. Let's try it now. Oh, nope. Let's put it to 10 degrees. Okay, let's see. 10 degrees should probably be enough. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Okay, it's probably just... Oh, it starts. Is it? No, okay, hold on. I'm quite sure why it's not... I guess the friction is too high. Let's put it to 2.5. Let's try it again. Okay. I guess we'll just drastically increase the tilt. Hopefully that helps. I'm not quite sure why Blender is just not cooperating now. Let's see if that helps. Let's keep the friction how it is now. That is interesting. So usually if you increase friction, of course, it should rotate. But that is just sliding down. That is a very interesting interaction with like, you know, I don't really get how this thing can't roll down a slope, but the Gömböc was just rolling around furiously on the surface. I don't really understand how that can be how that can happen. We could probably try something else. What about bringing a UV sphere? Let's see if that actually rolls down this surface. Maybe it's like a problem with the object itself. Let's bring in some more. Oh, let's keep it like this. Rigid body, there you go. Let's hide it for now. See ya. Put that to geometry. Okay, let's see if a sphere can actually roll down this slope. Oh, well, that's rotating. Okay, interesting. So the problem is not the simulation itself. The problem is the object. Okay, maybe if we play around. How about we like rotate it a little bit? Maybe that helps. Nope. Oh, maybe? Nope. Okay, hold on. What about increasing the friction again? So usually, of course, objects only, like if they go down a slope, they only roll because there's friction between the two objects, which is why we increase the friction so that the rolling actually occurs. So if we put it to full friction now, hopefully something happens. Now it just stands still. I guess now we've put glue on this surface. Let's see if we can margin dynamics damping translation. Let's put it to 0. What happens now? Okay. Maybe it's like the shape doesn't really work that well, I guess. I mean, we have a few more shapes we can try. Let's go to another one. Maybe it's just the problem with all of these shapes. Let's see. Let's import another one. How about let's see. How about a tetrasphericon? Let's try that. There it is. That looks quite a little bit different, but it has the same principle. We'll go in here, select these faces to put the pivot point right between, right there. Duplicate, rotate, 180 degrees. So we have the usual sphericon, but of course, right like this, it will just like rotate in a circle or like roll in a circle, so that it's actually like rotating in a weird way. We have to rotate it by, it'll roll in a weird way. We have to rotate it by 90 degrees on the z-axis. There we go. Now it basically has a continuous surface. We can see right there, it starts right there, goes all the way around here, and then goes all the way right there, goes all the way around there, and then it's back to the start. So that's usually how it should rotate now. I mean, roll. So what happens if we join these two? And then let's see if the simulation can actually simulate this object properly. We'll see. The scale maybe to something like this. Let's apply the scale. Maybe that was the problem. Set a rigid body simulation to this object. Put it on the surface right there. We should probably change. Let's put it. Oh, put it to medium point. Let's change it to something like this. Let's see what happens now. Convex hull. Let's put it to mesh. And friction. Let's keep it at 0.5. Oh, at least it rolls. At least it rolls. Let's see what happens. It will probably like crash onto this flat area now. Nope. Oh, there it goes. Oh. Kind of laggy, but it's working. It's working. I think the friction is too high. I mean, too low, because now it's just sliding over this the plane. Let's see if we can maybe put the friction higher. Hopefully that helps. Damping translation. I don't know if that really does too much. Let's see. Okay, now the friction is a little bit higher, so it should not slide. There you go. It's not sliding. It's not sliding. We can probably see it better in the fully simulated version. Maybe we should position it a little bit different. Right now it's just kind of trying to kind of like falling over itself. So if we play it now, we can see it starts and then kind of trips over itself, but you can kind of see that it's like kind of moving over there. What about positioning it differently? So how would we position it? Oh, like this. That's better. Okay, let's see how that works. Okay, let's see. Let's save real quick. Let's simulate again. Laggy first. 4 FPS. Okay. Still pretty slow. I think the geometry is kind of taking a toll on the PC, but you can kind of see the movement. Okay, well. Okay, it's kind of not really simulating that good. We can probably try a few more. Maybe the simulation is just not good enough for these kinds of these objects. I think I use 264. Can I see that in the settings right now? Let's see. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, 264. H264. Okay. Let's try a few more. Maybe the simulation is just not good enough in Blender. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have a few more. How about let's remove all the objects that we don't need, so we can kind of like make it easier and remove some performance, I guess, like requirements. STL. We have a. Let's use a hexa sphericon. That looks kind of like this. Of course, we get more and more of these round edges. So if we make a new one or make a second one, we can combine these into a full object. There you go. Duplicate this, rotate it. Oh, hold on. Yep. 3D cursor. And then this one we can't really rotate by 90 degrees. If that happens, I mean, yeah, by 90 degrees, we can see that just creates this weird overhang. What we have to do, we have to rotate it so that these corners actually connect, which is probably like 45 degrees. Nope, not 45. How about 33? Nope. I guess we just have to do it ourselves. Roughly like 82. How about rotating it by 82 degrees? Wait. Oh, I looked at the wrong one. Oh, by 60 degrees. Of course, it's a hexa thingy. There you go. Now you can see. Yeah, I'll try that maybe tomorrow. Maybe that'll help. Maybe it was just like too much performance that was required for the render itself. Okay, now you can see we have a continuous surface again. Goes all the way around, and then all the way around here. Then it starts back at the beginning again. So let's see if we combine this, then let it roll down the hill, if that actually like simulates how it's supposed to simulate. We can just join these two. Join, there you go. Put the pivot point into the center. There you go. Okay, make it smaller, apply the scale. Maybe a little bit smaller, apply the scale. Move it onto the plane. Okay, so it should be able to rotate, like roll down like this. Let's see. We can probably pull it a little bit closer to the plane so it's not like too bouncy. Enable rigid body. Mesh, there you go. Friction, let's put it to 1. Save. Let's see what happens. Oh, hold on. Wait, what? Why is it like, why is it falling up? Okay, that is interesting. Wait, did I... hold on. What is that? Did I... Let's see if the inside and outside are like flipped. Recalculate inside and outside now. Wait, what? Why is it falling up? What about changing the mass to -1? No, that doesn't really work. Wait, what? What happened? Why is it falling up? Can we see the world settings? So we should be able to set the gravity of the whole world somewhere. Settings, nope. I mean, it shouldn't be the problem of the world. It should be the problem of the object. The problem is why is it falling up? Let's try again. I mean, we could try something. What about just what about rotating this by 180 degrees? Nope, by 90 degrees. Okay, hold on. There you go. Ha, tricked you. Now it should work. Let's see what happens. Let's rotate this by 180 degrees. So this surface is like rolling. Let's see what happens. There you go. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, okay. So it's following the line, kind of the curve basically, but it's not really like doing what it's supposed to do. What it's supposed to do is that when it's rolling, it's supposed to hit this like this edge and then like turn around and like go this way, and it's this concave, I guess, like surface should always face the ground, which isn't really the case in here. Maybe if we increase the mass, maybe that helps. Otherwise, I'm not quite sure what could help. There you go. Maybe it was too bouncy and bring it in more. Oh, nope. Just ignoring the edge. Maybe bringing even more mass can help. Let's see. Nope, just ignoring it. Okay, I guess that's interesting. Oh, nope. Okay, that's kind of weird. Okay, well, I guess Blender is just not made for realistic simulations, then I guess. I can probably show you what it's supposed to look like, so you're not like thinking I'm like some idiot trying to make magic happen. Let me just quickly pull up a video of what's supposed to happen. Let's see. There you go. Okay, so we have the Gömböc first. Okay, so let me switch the scene. There you go. Okay, now you can see my image. So what is supposed to happen? Oh, the alerts stopped. Nice. The alerts are like enabled in this scene, so I can re-enable them. Oh, because of the restart probably. So what should happen, as you can see right there, a Gömböc in real life. What should happen is this. So if you just leave it, it would just bounce around, bounce around, bounce around, and then at some point it would hit this point, and then zip, it would just balance on the surface down there. Maybe if we I guess give it more time, it would do that. It didn't really seem as if it would do it. If you can see right there, the egg of course has multiple surfaces, the one right there at the bottom, one up at the top that you can balance it on, and then of course all around you have surfaces that you can balance it on. So the egg has more than 4 balance surfaces where it can stand on, but the Gömböc has 2. You can see right there, he tries to balance it, it falls off, like falls to the side, and you can see then it is a self-righting shape as it stands right there. It's supposed to balance itself on the stable surface. Of course, you could also balance it on this edge right there, but that would be very hard to do. Yeah, he's playing around with it a little bit more. That is the Gömböc, what it's supposed to do. What didn't really happen in Blender. So I guess the simulations in Blender are just too primitive to simulate it properly. Maybe a different, I guess, software could maybe do it, but Blender seems to not be capable of doing so. But we can look at the sphericons as well. Let's look at sphericons. Actually, I want to use he also made a video on sphericons. It should be, I'll just go in here. There you go. There it is. So he also made a video about sphericons. You can see them right here. So what'll happen? Oh, no sound. There you go. So it should do this S curve. We've tried this one and also the other one we can see right there. We've tried those, but Blender kind of decides just to ignore, I guess, the edges that kind of set the trajectory of, I guess, of this object when it rolls down. And as you can see right there, that is the movement of the, I guess, hexahedron. You can see it right there, trying to always like going to the side every time it hits this certain edge right there. And you have multiple like different shapes that do that. Let's see if he shows a few more. He has like also like this kind of shape that does the same. So all these shapes kind of like have their own like way of rolling down, which I kind of tried to simulate in Blender, but apparently it doesn't work. I basically just googled Sphericons 3D print, and then these ones. You can see a few more different versions. That's basically what I downloaded. You can see different ways how they roll down a surface, I guess. You can see this one is just an S-curve. This one is like rolling down and then doing 2 U-turns, going back and then doing that. You have one that is like going in some like a combination, an S-curve and also like 2 U-turns. Then you have this weird thing like doing a 90-degree, 180-degree, 180-degree going back, like these crazy movements. But apparently Blender is just too weak. Apparently simulations, I mean, it's kind of known, Blender simulations aren't the best, but at least it was worth a try. As I said before, we have some more time, so I guess we'll go back to the MSI CA submission. So that kind of completes or like concludes this experiment. Blender is too, like, the simulations in Blender are just not capable of really simulating these objects properly. Let's try one more. I want to try these bigger ones. Maybe they help. Hold on, I removed everything, didn't I? Wait, where's my... Oh, there it is. Let's try one more. Let's speedrun one more. And then we'll go over to the MSI CA. Let's use a Deca Sphericon. The last one we're going to try. This one. Okay. So, first of all, we need 2 sides. So, we duplicate this side and mirror it, basically. There you go. Cursor to selected. Duplicate. Rotate. Wait. Oh, 3D cursor. 180 degrees. There you go. Okay. So, we have to rotate it, of course. Oh, of course. I'm sorry. There you go. Thank you for the heads up. Still not in the groove with the whole scene stuff. We have to rotate it a little bit. I'm not quite sure how much. Maybe 33. Oh, that's maybe too much. What about 30? Nope. Okay, I guess we just do it manually. 35? Nope. Okay, I guess we'll... I tried to make it exact. Nope. There you go. Go very close. Make it perfect. Okay, let's try one more. Let's try this one. Join these two. Go in here. Set the pivot point into the center like this. Make it smaller. Let's see if this one rolls down or falls down or falls up. Let's see. So if it would roll, I guess it would just roll on this surface. Looks pretty good. So let's put it on the plane. Also apply the scale and enable a rigid body simulation. Set it to mesh and friction to 1. Let's save. Let's hit play and see what happens. It falls up. Oh, nice. Another one that I guess defies the laws of gravity, or Blender's gravity at least. Let's just put it down there then, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, it kind of like, it just, I think it's just too it's too primitive in terms of simulation. It can't really, I think it's just like the way Blender like simulates simulations that kind of hinders it from actually simulating it realistically. So it doesn't really recognize these edges as actual like I guess I don't know, it's just I think it's just too bouncy. You can see if you go very close, it kind of bounces. You can see right there. So I think because of this bounciness, it kind of jumps over the actual edges that would like move the object in its like in that weird line. So I guess yeah, that is a conclusion to this experiment. Blender simulations aren't capable of realistic simulations, actual realistic simulations. So conclusion set. Oh my god. Okay, no, I now know why it fell upwards, because I was facing the wrong direction. I was looking upside down, and because of the first one, or the previous one, was falling upwards, I thought this one was falling upwards as well, but this one's actually falling down, but it doesn't work. So conclusion, Blender's simulation is too primitive. Okay, so let's I guess that's that. Let's go back to the MSI CA submission. There you go. We can see here, I can show you, I've put in some more detail in the face. I can't really show you a before and after. I could, oh hold on, I can show you a before and after. I have a recording. Hold on, let me just pull it up real quick. There it is. Oh. Okay. Can I have a nice view? There you go. Okay. So, scene switch. This time I'm gonna remember. Okay. There you go. That is the previous version, very, very rough. The hair you can see, very, very rough. And now, zip, you can see more detail, a little bit adjusted in terms of proportions. The hair looks way more, way better. We've added this band, or I've added this band, and that's basically the current, like the last thing I did. Let's switch back to Blender. There you go. And we can work a little bit more on the arm, or the hand I actually wanted to work on. I kind of planned on working on the hand. No, hold on. I wanted to work some more on the arm off stream, but I haven't really found the time, at least on the weekend. I decided to work on the face some more to finish this. So we're not going to work on the arm today. We're going to actually work on the hand. Or actually, should we finish the arm first? I think what I want to do is put in like 2 more shapes similar to this blue one. And then that's going to be it for now for the arm. So we can probably do that pretty quickly. And then we can go back to the arm. We can see some weird, this weird edge right there. Maybe we can fix that somehow. I guess we have to pull this edge a little bit down. I mean, these vertices. Pulling, oh, hold on. We have to disable snapping. And let's try. That should kind of help. I think the problem is more on the other side. Oh, hold on. These two bad boys. Which one are them? Yep, these two. This one and this one. Let's pull them down a little bit. Okay, that should help. Yeah, it's a little bit less. It's still there, but I don't think we can get it like perfect. So let's just continue working on the next layer. I guess the easiest way would just be to create another plane. There you go, make it smaller. And then position it on the arm, make it a little bit smaller. Let's see what like how small the faces are for this shape. Okay, they're pretty big, so this is probably even smaller than I need this to be. We have to re-enable snapping. We can snap it now onto the surface. Let's position it somewhere where we have a good starting point, maybe up here. There you go. Now we can go into edit mode and position these vertices. I can't see them because they're inside of the object, so we have to set it to in front, so the surface is always, or the plane is always in front of the actual arm that we put it on. Yeah, now it's just putting down geometry and filling this arm. I kind of had a so what was my idea? Oh yeah, we had like one shape that goes like down here, and then two big shapes basically and one small shape. Just have to keep that in mind so that I'm not just modeling something and then like kind of disregarding what I actually want to do. Okay. Let's save real quick. Okay. So, first of all, what I try to do is kind of keep, like, create a edge line, like around this edge right there, and like an edge, not an edge line, like a face line. You can see it here, I think. Oh no, I didn't do it here. So yeah, I guess we could do the same on this side, I guess. I'm just rambling right now. Gonna talk to myself. Maybe we can probably talk about a topic that I kind of thought about on the weekend. Sometimes I had this idea of cloning myself. So like I had to do some sort of like chore. I think it was like, usually it was when I had to learn for an exam, for example. I then like thought to myself, dude, what if I could clone myself and then my clone would just do all that work? But then if you like, it sounds like a good idea, but it's kind of like if you think about it a little bit more, first of all, if you clone yourself, you don't really know if you are the clone, or like both, like you yourself and the clone would think that they are the real one, because they have the same experience up to that point, up to the point of duplication. So what I think would happen is that the clone would just say, or you would tell the clone, hey dude, let's can you make my homework? And he would just say, why would I? You're the clone. You like, or he would just say, no, I don't want to do the homework. You'll do the homework. And I don't really know if cloning yourself to do all the chores, or so that the clone can do all the chores for you, would really work the way at least I imagine it to be, or to work. I think if you yourself don't want to do it, I don't think your clone would either. That was kind of like a funny thought I kind of thought about. I always remember, like I remember thinking that back in the day, or like when I had to do some sort of chore, and then thinking about it a little bit more, I always came to the conclusion like, I don't think that's gonna be a good that's gonna be a good tactic. Yeah, I mean, you could always like, I mean, I don't really know if that's really a good like solution. The clone isn't supposed to kill you, or like you're not supposed to fight the clone, you're rather supposed to help each other, or at least he's supposed to help you. Oh, and then I also like kind of thought about, of course, if he does all the chores, he would learn more. You wouldn't really learn more, because you are the second person that kind of has like it's like your own, you would get your own experiences if you separate the clone from yourself, of course. So how would that work? Of course, you could probably say like, okay, you would just then at some point combine again, like form into like one again, like combine yourself with the clone. So you would kind of also combine your thoughts and your experiences, which could probably, like, of course it's all theory, but that could probably be a solution. But still, like, I don't think the clone would want to do the chores, because both, like, you and the clone would probably be like a clone at that point, because you're exactly the same, just one of you is the base, like, person. So just a like interesting thought experiment that I had with myself when I didn't want to learn for, I don't know, a vocabulary test in Spanish, for example. Couldn't I just duplicate myself? I don't think that would be a good solution. I think just learning is a better solution. I wonder if there are any, like, philosophical questions about duplicating, if there are any, like, moral, kind of, maybe, like, immoral, I guess, like, thoughts or, like, principles when it comes to cloning. Let's see if there's anything. Let me just quickly see if there's, like, something popping up if I just Google immorality of cloning. Human cloning, why is it immoral? Let's see. Oh, cloning, human cloning is currently illegal in Maryland. A human clone is a manufactured person, a genetic copy of another individual. She is made as follows. Take an egg from a woman's ovary, remove the egg's DNA and discard it. Obtain a cell from the person to be cloned and remove the DNA from the donor cell. Hold on. There you go. You can see it as well. Use an electrical pulse to cause cell division to begin, and a cloned embryo, a new human life has been created. Okay, so you cannot really clone yourself if you're already like a fully grown human. You can only do it when you're like just created, when you've just been created, when you're in the egg, or the embryo. This new person has no mother or father. Instead of being a unique person, as like, that's probably like similar to how twins are created, right? Just the egg. No, I think when a twin is created, like 2 sperm cells enter the egg, right? I think that's how that works. As happens when genetic material from a man and a woman are blended through fertilization of an egg by sperm, all of her genetic information came from one person, the person who was cloned. That's why a clone is a genetic copy of someone else. Yeah. Okay, where's the immoral part? Oh, human cloning is morally wrong because it undermines the dignity of the human person. Instead of cooperating with God's will, oh, okay, now we're tapping into religion, to procreate through the conjugal act of marriage. Oh, apparently through marriage you can procreate. Cloning involves the creation of human life according to scientists' will and predetermined specifications. The creation of human life is reduced to a manufacturing process. Okay. Oh, so it actually happens already. Human embryos are Human embryos manufactured by cloning are created exclusively so they can be killed in experiments. Clones are created so their body parts may be used by others. So that is how you get embryos for stem cell experiments, I guess, or stem cell whatever. Is there some sort of immorality outside of religion? Let's see. We have a PDF. Dangerous, unjustifiable, and genuinely immoral. Okay. Oh well, that's. I don't know if I want to read through this. I guess. Let's see. Let's see one more. Oh, let's go through Wikipedia. Oh, while many of these views are religious in origin, some of the questions raised by cloning are faced by secular perspectives as well. What does secular mean? Unrelated or neutral in regards to religion and irreligion. Okay. Learned something new today. Yeah, so there are advocates that kind of support it because of the whole organ like treatments you can use these clones for. Opponents of cloning have concerns that technology is not yet developed enough to be safe, and that it could be prone to abuse, either in the form of clones raised as slaves or leading to the generation of humans from whom organs and tissues would be harvested. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I guess that is kind of the idea I had with my homework. Kind of cloning, I mean using my clone as a homework slave, if you want to call it that. Kind of like, yeah, creating a homework slave to do the homework for me. I'm not quite sure how, like, if you create, like, if you clone an egg, wouldn't that still be from the same, like, it would still have the same DNA, so it would still have a mother and a father, wouldn't it? Because it would just have, like, it would exactly have the same DNA as the first child. Wait, where's mine? Oh, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so shouldn't it have like a father and mother, or mom and dad, whatever you want to call it, because it has the exact same DNA? I'm not quite. I'm kind of confused on that argument. I guess, like, yeah, I don't know. And then, like, if you kind of consider it, like, if you think about what they also, like, said in that Wikipedia article, that they would probably have problems integrating into the family. Wouldn't it just be like having twins? They are almost the same, so they kind of, I don't know. Is there a difference? Probably the only difference is twins aren't exactly the same, so there's still like a difference. With clones, you have exactly the same person, but just like in two different bodies. I mean, not different bodies, the exact same body. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah, I guess the only immoral thing right now is more about, or the arguments about immorality are more about the actual way, or the current knowledge about cloning. if we would clone right now, it would be amoral because we don't know what the implications are. That's what I got out of this, which of course is kind of understandable. And also, like, probably like clones are treated like not as equals, because you kind of, I don't know, like, as I said before, I would have like enslaved, maybe not enslaved, but also like kind of maybe forced my clone into doing my homework so that I can do something actual fun. So I kind of don't treat him as another real person, but more like I think like they get dehumanized as seen by my thoughts. So I guess that are some good, those are some good arguments for why cloning is immoral. Kind of an interesting topic. Just thinking about like, yeah, that just cloning. I've never really thought about cloning, and if or if not it is actually like yeah, I haven't really thought about cloning overall, really, in that depth. I only really went to, okay, well, that person would probably not want to actually do the chores that you don't want to, because they have the exact same experiences that you had, so they would kind of act like they are the one that don't have to do the chores. It would basically like be like you waking up from a dream, I guess, and then you kind of see a second you, which then kind of tries to order you around, but you think you're the one that is actually the one that like was there before the other dude, before the second you, and you kind of like try to enforce that, and it doesn't really work because the other person also thinks, or the other you thinks they are the one that was before, or that lived before you. Kind of interesting. I think that is also like kind of the discussion about teleportation. If teleportation would actually be like, if that teleportation was actually a thing, you would have to split an object, for example a human body, into its smallest parts, so that it could be recombined at the point where you want to teleport to, which would then beg the question whether or not it would actually be you anymore. Could we actually copy thoughts, or like the whole brain and like experiences and all that, perfectly to another like not object, to another place, without any deficits, or like without any problems? Which is kind of I don't think that is really possible. I don't think you can like just how would you say, like, rebuild a person on like somewhere else, the exact same person. I don't think you can like fully do that. I think there's like, I don't think you can really copy thoughts, although thoughts are basically just like the brain. Like the brain has a certain structure which stores different like experiences. I don't know. It's probably a similar discussion to, can we actually prove consciousness, or can we create artificial consciousness? probably like a similar discussion, just because it's like it kind of has the same basis, like thought basis. Can you can you create consciousness, basically? Because if you want to teleport and you have to like destroy yourself to be created somewhere else, you would have to be able to create consciousness somewhere else so that you can create yourself in that in that destination that you want to teleport yourself to. Maybe I don't think that is possible, but maybe you could like teleport kind of through light speed, like being as fast as light, which will then appear as if you're teleporting. Maybe that could work. Then it's not really teleporting anymore, it's more like super fast movement. So yeah, definitely very interesting to think about. So we see right here, if we just combine these faces into one, we have a problem, because then all these edges or all these vertices get concentrated into this small space, into this small surface, which will probably lead to some interesting and I guess like deformations. Maybe we can solve it by like changing the geometry a little bit. Let's see. For example, we can combine this face, these two faces. Let's see. Well, let's play around with this. Yeah, as I said in the beginning, I want to build myself a shader library just to kind of not always have, like, so I don't have to do create the shaders every time. I like kind of catch myself creating the same shader over and over and over again. And why would I do that if I can just create a small library where I can store all of those materials and then just pull them out whenever I need them? That is kind of what I plan on doing at some point to save some more time. And as everybody knows, time equals money, I guess. No, not really. Like, time is precious, rather. You shouldn't waste your time on unnecessary stuff. Yeah, I guess we could probably live with 3 vertices at the end. It'll be pretty dense, but I think that's the best we can do here. We could probably kind of, I guess, force less, like combine them in a certain way, but I don't know if that's necessary. That'll still create some interesting deformations, so I guess the best way would just be to combine them. Into, like, to just fill out the whole thing with these 3 vertices that we have now. Or edges. Edges. Let me drink something. I didn't drink so far, so we're, hold on, I guess like 2.5 hours in, haven't had no drink yet. So let me do that real quick. There you go. Okay, let's fill this up. So I think we have too many edges on this side. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 1 more. There you go. Let's reposition them a little bit. Okay. So I'm kind of thinking about Star Wars and their cloning. I guess if they have found a way to clone an actual like fully grown human, that is probably a different discussion, because then you kind of figured out a way to yeah, like fully clone a human without any, at least visible problems. They all, like the clones at least, seemed to be fine. I mean, you could probably say they were used as war slaves, kind of like they were just used as cannon fodder. And then we have like the generals that kind of have more like are more important, so they kind of they have more value, which means they aren't really regarded as slaves. I think there were like higher generals that were still like clones, but most of them were more like these white dudes. They're like in their white armor. So they could probably be considered like, maybe not slaves, but they were kind of born to be something very specific that they didn't really have a, like, they couldn't really decide that they actually wanted to do that. They were just, I guess, born in that position, or in that situation, into that situation. So you could probably consider that like a slave. It's not like, yeah, they probably were forced to, or like they're forced to do that. So maybe you couldn't really consider cloning in Star Wars moral. Okay, perfect. We have the other side perfectly placed on the base. We can then enable subdivision surface to smooth it out. Perfect. Looks pretty good already. Let me fix a few things. First of all, here we have to pull this vertex back so that it's not intersecting with this small like a, I guess, elbow piece. Here we have a pretty big like room between the edge of the base layer and then the second layers. Let me adjust that a little bit, pull it out a little bit more. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. I did an experiment today. I wanted to see what happened if I just like put in some sort of English message into different languages. Of course, then you can basically hear what the accents like sound like in a pure form. So for example, I used English. I put in something like, I don't even know, like some sort of English sentence, put that into Google Translator, and then let it play in different languages. And it was pretty funny. Like you can really like, you can hear the distilled accent of every country if they would speak English. Which can sound pretty funny. Okay, so I kind of want to, okay, hold on. Of course, I tried German as well. Came out just as I expected. Pretty scuffed. But still pretty funny to hear. I want to make these these corners a little bit sharper, so I put in one more edge loop right here, so that it gets sharper. Who would have guessed? There you go. I want to keep them pretty close at the corners, so the corners are pretty sharp. Who would have guessed? So that it looks more like this. If you bring in more subdivisions, you can see it gets smoother. We can see a small problem right here. The deformations get kind of weird, I guess. Over here, what about switching this to smooth? We can see a small like error right there. We have this weird edge forming, probably because of the distribution of these vertices. What about moving them over a little bit? Hopefully that helps. Okay. Yeah, tomorrow we're probably just gonna work. Oh, tomorrow we're gonna model the hand of this character. I think as long as we still work on this character, I'll probably do like a schedule of Monday we're gonna do some sort of small projects, and then on Tuesday to Thursday we're going to work on this character, just talk about different stuff. I think that is the best use of the time we have. This way I can still like I think it's kind of refreshing to do different like things throughout the week. They go 4 days of just modeling on this, or like working on this character can be quite boring, or at least it can be quite monotone. So I kind of want to include at least one project every week that is something different, that'll just take 1 day to finish. Today was the experiment with the Gömböc and the Sericons. I need a shrink wrap modifier. Put that set the target as the base layer. There you go. That looks better. And we need a solidify modifier. Let's put that to, what is it? 1.14. There you go. 0.14. Okay, perfect. That looks pretty good. So we have the 2 shapes. We need one more. Before we do that though, I'm going to bring this back to, or remove the in front option, so that it's not like going through all the other objects. Okay, perfect. We have one more shape that I want to put in here, which is right in there. Yeah, I'm going to put in one more. I thought about maybe putting in some sort of like window so you can see through, but I don't think that's that'll look good. I think that'll just look weird. So let's do one more. Plain, there you go. So tomorrow we're gonna work on the hand, creating a mechanical hand. Kind of trying to just detailing this some more. Of course, right now it's very, very rough. The fingers aren't even connected, so that's what we're gonna work on tomorrow. Okay, let's see. First of all, in front, of course, and snapping enabled. There you go. So let's do the last shape. So then we're done with, oh, we have to put in a little bit more geometry right here actually, so we can sharpen this edge. So let's just do that real quick. There you go. We have to put it closer to the edge, right there. Okay, perfect. Oh, my grandparents are moving right now, or they are already in their new home, but now or at least my mom is looking for, or is selling the house, of course. And there's still some stuff, like some old furniture in the house. So we she said like, oh, I have a surprise for you. I was kind of like, okay, what is it? What do you want to tell me now? What is it? Like, yeah, we're gonna, like, on the weekend, we're gonna go over there and, like, we're gonna grab the sledgehammer, I guess, or grab a big hammer and then smash all these furniture, like all this furniture into bits. Turns out we could just unscrew all of them, or like I guess like just use a screwdriver to, I guess, reduce them to bits or like unscrew them, which is what we did. We weren't like really using the hammer. We were just using the screwdriver, which is of course easier, not as dangerous. So I was kind of happy to so that, like, I was happy to not having to use the sledgehammer. I remember seeing like these television shows where they like repair a home, for example, for someone that was like kind of unlucky and had bought some sort of house that was super broken. They couldn't really foresee that. I mean, yeah, chainsaw would also be a solution, I guess. We decided to use the screwdriver. And like I saw these, like my mom were sometimes like watching these shows, or sometimes watching these shows like repairing or like helping renovate these homes. And they would, like, for example, break down a whole wall so that they can like open up a room or like combine two rooms, and then they would like use these huge sledgehammers to break up or to break this wall. That's the only situation I ever like remember seeing these excuse me, these huge hammers being used. Yeah, I mean, the furniture wasn't really that like super sturdy anyway, so would have been overkill to use to destroy it. Yeah, so I was kind of happy so that we didn't have to use it, but it was still like I guess would have still been interesting to actually do it, just to see how it like feels, I guess. Just to see how it plays out. I would consider myself a I wouldn't say a, how would you call it, like a not scared, like a cautious person, I guess. I always think about every time I do something that is like basically every time I do something, every time I don't know, do something when it comes to like for example using the hammer, or every time there's something new that I do, I try to think about everything that could happen. Not only the bad things but also the good things. I try to kind of evaluate whether or not I should actually do it, and then I think about what the best approach would be. So that you could probably call that maybe like, I wouldn't really call it scared. It's more like just being cautious. which I actually kind of like about myself, that I am that cautious. I think it helped me a lot when it comes to avoiding different injuries. I never really got into a situation where I really was where I thought oh dude, if something went wrong, you would have hurt yourself so bad. That was never really the case. I never tried to jump over some sort of I don't know, barbed wire or whatever. I never tried to scare a horse from behind. I never was the person to do that. I was more sitting at home playing Minecraft. So there wasn't really that much that could have happened. Oh, hold on. There's a problem. Or is there? Let's see. I guess we could combine it like this. That's a... Oh. Nothing's happening. Why not? Hello? Please combine. Wait, those are... No, hold on. We have a problem. We should... Oh, we could probably solve it by... Yeah. Problem solved. Okay. Yeah, that's one trait I really am grateful for. That's probably also one of the reasons that I never really had a big injury. I remember once cutting myself pretty, I guess, badly. I tried to open a hold on. Let me see what the actual translation is. Liver sausage, I guess. Like the thing that you can put on your bread in the morning, or your buns, and it was in this sort of fabric wrapping. So I tried to open it, or no, I don't really know what I tried to do. I just went in there with my knife and tried to, I think I tried to break through the canvas, I guess, wrapping, and it went through, of course, and because I had to use some force, it went through abruptly. So I kind of cut myself right in between these two fingers. So I had to put on a I had to another word I can learn. Plaster? That's kind of a weird word. Hold on. Yeah, I had to use a plaster, I guess. No, band-aid, of course, a band-aid. It wasn't that gnarly, but it was still shocking. I think that was one of the biggest injuries I really ever had. The other one was probably, which was still kind of tame, which was a injury on my eyebrow. It was I was playing in the kindergarten. I think I was chasing someone, or I was kind of running away from someone, or just running around in general. And there was this hill that had a tunnel, and then of course you could run on top of the hill. I decided it was pretty shallow, I guess, hill, with these steps that were basically just consisted of dirt, and then at the end, at the beginning of the step, you had this, I guess, wood bar. And I tried to run up the hill, and I tripped on one of the wood bars, and I hit my head right onto the on the next bar. So I had a it was bleeding pretty heavily, and I had to be had to be sewed shut, I guess. It didn't really take that long to... Oh, it had to be stitched up. Didn't really take too long to heal, and I actually remember that I didn't really feel it. I remember going to the I think like to the hospital and being like stitched up. All I remember from that experience was the doctor telling me, okay, we're gonna put this I guess this sort of like this not fabric, like towel on you, so on your face, so you can't see anything, and then they would just stitch it up. I don't remember if they used any anesthetics to numb the pain. All I remembered was sitting there, and then at some point it was over. I remember like basically nothing. It felt like it was like done in a second, and I haven't really felt any pain from that really. So that was kind of interesting. Yeah, maybe. I'm not quite sure how they really like work these wounds. It's kind of weird. Like sometimes I kind of had some sort of not surgery really, but maybe some sort of I guess surgery, like something had to be done, and I remember usually the experiences were like, oh, you will feel some pain, you will it'll be painful for a while or whatever. For example, when I got my wisdom tooth removed just recently, I think it was last year, I removed my wisdom teeth, 2 on the left side, 1 on the top row and 1 on the bottom row. And I remember, like, of course, when you're done, it just like you're numb, you couldn't really say anything, you couldn't really feel anything. But then I started, like, of course I was prepared, I read through multiple articles about it, how you should behave basically, or how you should treat it once you're home. And I basically always like put a cooling like bag on it so that it's always cooled. I think I read that you're not supposed to do that the whole time. I even did that when I went to sleep. I basically just laid on that bag. But the main thing is, I never no, I didn't take anything. I just I mean, that's the weird thing. I never felt anything. It was like the only thing I felt was that it was like I guess like thicker on that side. I never felt any pain, which was so weird. I thought I would at some point, like I always think like, okay, at some point you're gonna feel it, at some point you're gonna feel it, but I never felt anything. The only thing I felt was when they removed this weird thing that they put in there. Let me see what the actual name is. The okay, it's the same, I guess. Okay, I guess hold on. The tamponade that they put in the bottom tooth, because the tooth is so deep inside of your gum that there would be this huge hole that they have to fill somehow, so that it's not like filling up with blood, I guess, so that it's easier to heal, or that it heals easier. He put that in there, and then I kind of was like scared, because I felt around back there at some point, and I felt that there was this weird canvas like, or band-aid like, yeah, I guess band-aid back there, this tamponade, and I got scared, like, oh, did he forget to like take out the band-aid he was working with at that time, like when he was operating? I was kind of scared, like, oh dude, maybe I have to, I don't know, like it would rip something out when he takes it out. I don't know. I didn't know what it was, so when I went in there, or when I went back in there, the day he checked back on me, so to see if everything is working fine and everything's looking good. Hold on, I forgot to take my painkiller after removing my wisdom tooth, and it was the most painful experience I ever had. Yeah, I don't know, maybe they gave me some painkiller that like lasted for, I guess, days. I don't know, and I haven't felt anything in there. It was so weird. So I go in there. He, like, I say nothing first because I wanted to see what he actually does. Then I was sitting there waiting what he's doing. He was just checking everything out, if everything's looking good. I think it was removing the sewing or the thread from the top tooth, because the top tooth was already was looking good. So he kind of removed that so that the tooth could just heal on its own. But then he just, like, of course, as he does, he knows what he's doing and he knows what'll happen. He would just pull out the whole thing, which was like this band-aid clumped together. Like, it was probably like probably 5 centimeters or more when he pulled it out. Imagine like ripping like a band-aid off your wound that was on there for a long time, like a week or so. I don't remember how long it was till I went back in there. And I was in shock. Like, I was scared first when I went in there, like, oh dude, he forgot this band-aid in there, it's gonna be so painful. And then I kind of braced myself, but I kind of really didn't know when he was doing it, so it was still shocking. Like, I was so scared before, and then it was so shocking in the moment. And I don't know, that was the most scared I have been for a long time. And yeah, I think that was the most painful part about the whole wisdom teeth removal. The actual, like, procedure beforehand, yeah, I never felt anything. It was like fully painless. Maybe it was because I like put the cooling back on. Maybe that was why. I just remember like other people telling me like, dude, it's so painful. And you telling me like, oh, it's so painful. So I don't really know. Maybe I'm just weird. I mean, I definitely do feel pain. I'm actually like, that's the weirdest thing. When it comes to very, very small things, I'm super sensitive. So for example, one of my, like, the small toe, the toenail was a little bit too long, and it has like a small edge on it. So when I was walking with my friend on the weekend, just like walking around, kind of talking, taking a walk basically, I felt this weird feeling on my foot or in my toe, basically as if there was some sort of stone between the toe, which was actually happening. What actually happened was that my hold on, I did a big mistake. What actually happened was that that the small toenail kind of dug into the other toe, because the shoe kind of pressed the toes together. Actually, the toes are just like that, and I got this small little bruise, which kind of felt like, of course, how a bruise would feel. And I'm so sensitive to these very small injuries, but then when it comes to like bigger injuries, I never feel anything, or at least like I haven't really had any huge surgeries. I'm pretty lucky that I never really had a big surgery yet. I think the biggest one was like probably like 10 years ago or so. I mean, I never tried to touch a flame. I also never tried to, I mean, I can feel heat, and I can feel like when a plate is hot. So it's not like I'm not feeling anything. That is the weirdest thing about it. Like, I can still feel stuff, but it feels like when it comes to specific instances, it's like the pain is just gone. I could just shut it off, I guess. Maybe my... yeah, I don't know. I still have one wisdom teeth on the other side, which is at the top. I only have 3 wisdom teeth, which is actually pretty lucky. So I only have to remove one at the top, which is easier to remove and also easier to heal. Doesn't take too long. Doesn't take that long to heal. So I'm pretty lucky. So I just removed 2. I remember, like, you can either remove all 4 at once or just remove 2. But I think if you remove all 4 at once, it's like super miserable for multiple days because you can't really eat anything, at least with your sides of your mouth. You can probably chew it with the front teeth. But still, I remember, I think I lost like 5 pounds or like, no, kilograms throughout, I guess, a week. Because I ate basically nothing. I think I ate like smushed banana and eggs. I think that's all I ate. Everything else was too hard, or I just read you shouldn't eat like corn. You shouldn't eat anything that is like actual solid and like hard. So I stick to that and only ate banana and eggs. Which of course isn't really enough to sustain your caloric intake. So I kind of lost a little bit of weight, 5 kilos in a week. It was kind of crazy. And at some point I probably have to do the other side as well, but that, I guess, won't be too bad. Yeah, I just think the dentist the doctor kind of suggested not doing all 4 at once because it would be so miserable. Of course you would be done then by now, or you would be done and once it's healed, but I think it would still be like a way worse experience than just doing one side. Oh yeah, I remember also that was kind of funny as well. I did the surgery, I guess, or the yeah, let's call it surgery. I did that on a Friday because I wanted to get back to work on Monday, and like the doctor kind of asked me, okay, when do you want to, or I think he said like, okay, I'm gonna give you a an appointment on Wednesday, I think, or Tuesday, he said. And I kind of asked like, okay, can I maybe put it like, can I maybe have one on Friday? Then he was kind of asking, like, kind of was confused, like, okay, wait, don't you wanna have some like I guess like vacation days because of the healing process? And I said like, no, can you give me one on Friday? I want to get back to work on Monday. And it actually healed that fast. I went back to work on Monday. I think it was a Monday. Yeah, I think so. So it just took like a few days to heal. I read like it could take like 2 weeks or so, or maybe even more, but my healing process was pretty fast. So it's either on my part, so that my body's just insane in terms of healing, or the doctor was just very good at what he did. Either way, I'm happy that I'm done now. He kind of pestered me over multiple, I guess, appointments when I went there, saying like, oh, you should remove the teeth, like you should remove your wisdom teeth. At some point they're gonna be a problem. I always said, like, yeah, next time, and then at some point like I kind of gave up and I made an appointment. And now they're out. Okay, now we can see these three shapes that I put on the base layer. We could probably do more, but that is the base for now. Of course, the more we put on, the more we have to kind of work with in the end. But also the more we put in, the more, like, I guess, refined or more detailed it'll look. Gonna have to find a mix between both. But I think that could be enough. If we work with textures, putting in maybe some interesting stuff on these surface, like on these I guess shapes, just using like textures, that can also be enough and make it interesting. We don't really have to work with the geometry too much. Okay, so that is the arm. We have a little bit more time, I guess. We could probably work on the inner parts. I'll probably fill this up with something. We have the bones now, so we could probably work on some more like filler. Put some cables in there, put some yeah, I guess cables, maybe some just maybe detail these joints a little bit more. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I kind of want to keep it pretty clean, so not really like, I think if we put in too many gears, it could look like not cyberpunky, like steampunky. But I think if it's like on the inside, it's not gonna be that visible, so we can probably put in some gears. Yeah, let's work on this some more. Okay, I also have my references on the side, of course, that you can't see, because they are they can't be recorded. They're unrecordable. At least not in a windowed recording, only in display recording, which doesn't work for my setup. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, let's put in a cable for now. Easiest way to do a cable is just use a curve, Bezier curve. There you go, make it smaller. And then we can go to the curve settings, enable geometry by setting the depth higher. There you go. Now it is an actual tube. We still have the handles, which we can then use to move this cable or curve, whatever you want to call it. Oh. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I never really, like, it seems like some people are really like prone to really have a lot of injuries, or at least like a lot of like surgeries that they had to experience in their life. I remember one girl in my class in high school had, I think, 2 broken arms throughout our throughout like the years. One, she just fell off of her her desk chair and fell onto her arm, which caused it to break. Kind of interesting, kind of a weird story, but kind of bizarre. And then I think one more, but I can't really remember what the second story was. I just remember I think the worst bone you could break, at least at least when it comes to sound, is your hold on, what is it? I remember the name, but I can't really say it. What is it called? Your thigh bone? What is it? Femur. There you go. I knew it. Your femur, breaking your femur must be like, of course, every broken bone is like super painful. But I think the sound of like this huge bone breaking must be so loud. Can't even imagine. I wonder if like the healing process of these bigger bones is also longer. I would probably think so. But yeah, that's probably one of the bones that you never want to really break. I mean, you probably never want to break any bone, but still. It's like, I don't really know how you could even break your femur. I remember seeing a an episode of CGI artists react to different movie scenes on YouTube, and they reacted to a scene where somebody, where a stuntman, like, tried to jump a ramp over some sort of, I think, container, but the storyline actually, or the script actually said that he was supposed to like crash into the it was an obstacle in the middle and then two ramps, so he would just like jump off of one ramp and then land on the other one. But then he was not supposed to stick the landing. He was supposed to crash into the ramp and then like fall off his bike. What then happened was he crashed into the ramp, flipped forward so that his feet were facing forward, and he kind of hit the edge of the ramp with his thighs, which then apparently broke his femur. Just thinking about these kinds of like injuries makes me kind of happy that I am kind of, I guess I call it what was it? No, not scared like a plan ahead, but I probably also has to do with the luck. So we have one cable, just filling up the space a little bit more. I want to put in something else, which will combine these two bones. So let's do that. We will use a cube first. Nope, hold on. We're going to use a cylinder. Make it smaller, of course. Yeah, injuries aren't really a fun thing to think about, at least for me. Even like seeing these, I remember this video of like the theme is basically an actual like emergency doctor, judges video game injuries or like injury treatments. He would kind of think about, okay, or he would talk about, okay, if you would have this injury, you would do that, like do the following. And then you have these animations in Far Cry. Of course, Far Cry, you don't really have kind of a fun game, not really that realistic. So they would like implement these healing, or like healing in quotation marks, animations. For example, like he would have a broken like finger facing in a completely different direction, and he would just kind of put it back into place. It wasn't a broken bone, it was more like a detached, or like yeah, you know what I mean, a bone that's like facing in the wrong direction, so we had to pull it back so it goes back into the socket. These sort of like, he would pull it back, and then he was talking about, okay, you would do the same, but of course it would be very painful, and you would need a lot of force, especially for your shoulder, for example, or for your arm. There was another one where where his I think his whole arm was like hold on, I want to know what this word is called. Dislocated, of course, where the whole arm was dislocated, and he would then like just pull it back into place. He then kind of talked about, okay, of course it would require that much force, and would be, of course, so like super painful, that you probably couldn't do it yourself, at least without any help, without any tools, for example. So he yeah, even just seeing these animations kind of make me cringe. Because I kind of always think about like not only like the action, but also like the pain that comes with it. I can't really feel it, but it's still like the thought about it, or like the thought kind of is enough. It's kind of weird. I remember like seeing this subreddit. I talked about it before. That was kind of like what was it? Something gore, where they showed injuries, like post-injury photos, or it was treated basically. And for example, I talked about the hand that went into a shredder. And it is like, so it's a weird experience. When I see this stuff, it's like I'm more scared about what I will feel when I see it than when I actually see it. So usually what would happen is that I would think about my experience and then I would look at it and kind of feel something, but it never really felt like how I imagined it. It kind of felt like how would you like say it, like it would just feel like, okay, well, that's it, I guess. I guess, of course, the injuries I saw weren't that crazy. They kind of felt more like film makeup. It kind of felt more like that rather than actual injuries. I think if I would have seen some sort of video of someone being cut up to be like, I guess, to have some sort of surgery, then it would probably be a different story. Like seeing it as a video is probably way worse than seeing it as an image. But it's just kind of a weird feeling, like seeing, like imagining what you would feel, and then you feel it, or you see it, and it's a whole different feeling. Very strange. So we have a oh, there you go. Perfect. That fits like a glove. Let's do the same on the other side, and then we have a small little thing just putting in some more detail into this arm. Okay, remove the face, and then we can bring it back through the magic of grid fill. Perfect. Wait, how many did I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I do not remember. 9, okay. Wait, are you actually watching the stream or are you working on your own stuff? You were just glancing over. You're stalking me? Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So now we can, I mean, are you saying I can't count? I mean, probably true, but don't have to be so rude. Okay. So we can use this to put in, like, plug a cable in there, just to justify to have more cables in here. There you go. Okay. Some nice jazz in the background. Perfect. A perfect afternoon. Okay. Oh, Nope, not gonna do that. I don't think that's gonna be, I don't think that I can I? Oh, I have an idea. I have an idea. A neat trick. Let me bring in a curve. We use a, oh, not this. We use a circle. Move that over here. The circle is very small apparently. Or the circle is very big. There it is. So, we have a circle. If we move the circle to the side and duplicate the circle, move it to the other side, and then let's scale it down a little bit. There you go. Actually, should we? Yeah, let's do it. Stylize them a little bit. Then we can go into the cable, or into the curve. Go to geometry, taper object, select these circles, and there you go. It looks worse than before. That is because we have to remove the depth and then use the offset setting, which does nothing, of course. Hold on. Oh, there. Nope. Wait. Oh, there you go. We have to remove the taper object. We have to go to bevel object, and then we have to select the circle. There you go. Now we have two cables in one curve, which we then can use a twist effect to twist these cables. There you go. Ooh, maybe that's a little bit too much. Maybe a little bit just like more like this. Perfect. Aha. And just like this, we can add more detail without really having too many objects. There you go. We could probably even go in here and make this bigger. And we can use another... let's use this, move it over here. Make it smaller. Nope, before we do that, make it smaller. Oh, we can do... hopefully that works. Let's select this curve right there, this side. Oh, hold on. I guess we just select them like this. Okay. Set the cursor to the selected faces. We then go to 3D cursor as the transformation, select everything, scale it down. Hold on, no, we have to select the other side. There you go. And now we scale it down with proportional editing enabled using a linear transformation. And it looks horrible, so let's not use that way of creating this piece that I wanted to create. We could use a curve. Let's see. Okay, let's do it another way. What about just using a another curve, a path, of course. Put it over here, make it smaller. Oh, there you go. That should just create a flat, I guess, like curve. Let's see. There you go. Aha. Perfect. It has no thickness, which we could probably bring in. Should we bring that in later? I guess that's the easier way. Or maybe we don't even need thickness in here. We'll see. So let's go in here, make this smaller. I want to wrap this around the bone, or like this main part, so that the cable is actually attached to something that is not just jiggling around, just to contribute to the overall anatomy of this mechanical arm. Okay, now we can put this rubber band or whatever that is around the cable. Oh, hold on. We could probably even use a solidify modifier to put in some solidness, I guess. Some solidity. Okay. Trying to keep it as close as possible to the surface, because it's supposed to wrap around it. Perfect. Wrap around the cable. I remember somewhere hearing that Avatar 2 is in the works. Kind of interested to see how that's gonna turn out. I think the first one was kind of a whole, like, I guess, showcase of new technology. For example, realistic looking water and like characters, like basically just creating a full CG world. I think it was pretty new at that time, but it'll be interesting to see if there are no like new technologies that will be like implemented in the new version or in the new like part as well. Hopefully it's not like how usually the second part is, yeah, like it's not like super it's not worse than the first part. I think the first part was pretty good. Hopefully it's not like usually people say like the second part about any movie is like worse than the first one. Hopefully that isn't really the case for Avatar. Yeah, it's gonna then come out in 2345 when we are already dead. There have been multiple directors, generations working on that movie. Then it's just gonna flop. So just is that just your guess, or did you get that from somewhere? The date. I could probably see it taking even like that many years to finish it. Okay, well, okay. So that means when the film releases, I'm 29. That'll be interesting. It's like so crazy how long like stuff like that takes. Also like video games are like in the works for like 8 years, like GTA for example. And usually it starts right when the last part released, which is like so crazy. Like you start working on this project when you are like, I don't know, if it like takes 8 years, if I would like start working on it like now, it would like be done when I'm 30. That's so crazy. And then the worst part would be when everybody would hate it. Everybody would just rail about it, and it would be like super bad. That must be so like heartbreaking. But I guess that's just the industry. And then you go on to your next game, and that'll be released when you're 2038. I wonder how was that in the works for a long time, the Matrix? I wonder for how long the actual director works on that movie. If you look through the whole history or the whole timeline of the movie, how it's been created, or how it's getting, like, how the creation process works, how long the actual director actually works on it. He probably like has his kind of like he always like looks through the whole process, like looking at the VFX for example, when everything's done, when everything's been filmed. Filming is probably the biggest part of the director's work, just I guess directing the scenes, but then afterwards also seeing the VFX shots, if they look how they're supposed to and all that. I think he probably still has a role like in that process. But I wonder how much he's working like how much percentage wise he's actually actively working on the film. Okay, so they already had the script, but he just said nope. And they couldn't do it then. That's kind of interesting. That's also kind of crazy that just like an actor could just say nope and nope out. imagine like writing a full 4-episode or full 4 parts of a movie, then at some point your main actor just said, nope, I'm good. It must be so, like, I don't know, frustrating. Yeah, I mean, that is just another, what was it? The truths we talked about last week. Another, hold on, I'll pull it up. Can't remember what the name was. Oh, harsh truth, of course. Another harsh truth to accept. There you go. We have added a few more cables. Just a small thing in this huge, I guess, mechanical arm. But it still adds a little bit of a character, a little bit of detail. Just gonna work on this more and more. Tomorrow we're gonna work on the hand. Yeah, I'll probably think about how I will make, like, how I will shade these cables later. I think I'll keep, maybe we could make the cables glow, at least like a few of them. I kind of want to keep the outside look close to a sculpture, so there's not going to be like glowing parts on the outside, but maybe we can put some in there just to make it like actual, like, yeah, make it look more like an actual machine that is active. There you go. Oh, yep. Tomorrow we will work on the hand, which will probably be very intricate. We'll see how we will like form it, whatever. Maybe it'll be like a closed actual hand. We'll see. Yeah, tomorrow we're gonna work on the hand. You can see they're like super rough right now. We have to flesh this out a little bit, and then we can transfer the arm to the other side, and then yeah. Hope you enjoyed it today. Hope you had fun. The first project, of course, the experiment wasn't really that exciting, but at least it was pretty, I mean, it was still interesting to see if that actually works, but it didn't, so okay, yeah. Yeah, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for visiting, thank you for watching, maybe listening, whatever. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. If you want to see more, of course, from me, you can check me out on any of the social media. And until then, hope you all enjoy the rest. Oh, I have to wait. What's up? Yep. Hold on. Do you mean... Oh, you mean on my Instagram page? Let's check. Yeah, I should probably change my links on... Yeah, right. Thanks for the heads up. Should probably change the links on my social media, I guess, accounts. Yeah, I didn't really think about that. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah, I'll do that probably, maybe even today. Yeah, hope you enjoyed. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Hope you have a nice rest of your day, And yeah, until then, take care.